This is my review of the Smith & Wesson M&P Pro 5" and 9mm. Comes in a typical plastic case. There's a foam lining, as we would expect. Pretty standard. Comes with the lock, the manual, 2 fired casings, 2 magazines, the pistol, 2 back straps, extra back straps, and this nifty paper that's kind of a Smith & Wesson tradition. Kind of a nice touch. The magazines are metal, they're not plastic or plastic lined. The base pad is a polymer, the follower is also polymer. They've worked very well. I've had no issues. They drop free perfectly. They load into the gun perfectly, and when they seat into the gun, they add a little bit more to the contour of the grip area. For someone like me with large hands, it adds just a little bit where my pinky doesn't feel like it's hitting the edge or falling off the gun. So it's nice. I like that. The firearm itself is well made. There's a couple issues that I've seen in the polymer. The quality doesn't seem to be as good as Glock in regards to the build on the polymer. You can see back here on the little tang for the beaver tail, it's kind of rough where the molding was. It wasn't cleaned up very well, or at all maybe. The other issue that I've seen, which is probably from manufacturing, I don't know if you can see it here on the camera, there's a little scuff behind the trigger here. I originally thought it was due to my FFL from handling it and stuff. I took it to him, he said absolutely not, looks like a manufacturing defect. This is going to be my competition gun, so I'm not super worried about it. I'd rather that not be there, but I'm not going to engage Smith & Wesson regarding that. This does have the fiber optic front sight, and the rear is metal, unlike Glock, which is nice. It does have the loaded chamber indicator. It's just the peephole in the barrel hood. The magazine release is pretty easy to hit. The magazine drops out pretty quick. No issues there. The other issue I've had is on the slide locking back. The slide stop or the slide release, depending on who you're asking, is not easily disengaged. You really have to push hard. It is ambidextrous. You can hit it with 2 hands, make it easier. Kind of silly. It's just easier to run over the top or slingshot or whatever you're comfortable with doing on the gun. That is kind of a downside, considering this is going to be a competition gun, and usually the fastest way to release the slide back is just running your thumb over that, which doesn't work. The trigger is good. It's probably one of the better polymer triggers that I've seen or felt. I'd probably put it on par with the PPQ in terms of the crisp break. It's definitely better than the Glock trigger in terms of the break. It's not mushy. It's fairly 1911 feeling in the break. However, there is a long take-up. Again, the take-up is disengaging safeties, which will allow the gun to fire, much like all the other polymers. I would prefer not to have the long take-up. However, the crisp break definitely makes up for it. Takedown is pretty easy. You do have to pull the trigger, unfortunately. That's an issue that a lot of people have when they're technically cleaning their guns. They will not empty the firearm, not make sure it's safe. They'll pull the trigger, and they have a negligent discharge. There is a way around it. You can come inside here and hit one of the pieces in there. I haven't done it yet because I don't have an issue pulling the trigger. I'm used to my Glocks. So how does this look side by side with the Glock? Here I have one of my 17s, which I've used pretty extensively. I use it for all my training classes. I've done some modifications. I've taken off the finger grooves, which I just absolutely hate, which is one of the reasons why I've bought the M&P. I've added the extended mag release, which I feel was needed, and the slide stop. I've turned it now into a slide release per Glock with a little extended tab here. And I do have Warren Tactical night sights on this one. This is pretty much my go-to defensive gun. So side by side, the M&P is definitely longer, bigger. It is designed for competition use. It is a 5-inch, so you will get the longer sight radius. From the factory, the M&P has better sights, better quality sights. Not really combat sights because there's no way to grab a belt or clothing or a wall, door jamb, shoe, whatever. You can't really do that on the M&P Pro at all. It's ramped, so it's not going to work. That's the only downside. However, this gun is aimed at competition use, so that really shouldn't be an issue at all unless your competition gun is also your defensive gun, which might not be the best idea unless it's the only gun you got. Trigger pull, M&P does win on the trigger pull. Definitely better. Even with work that I've done to my Glocks on the trigger is definitely nicer on my Glocks. However, it's still somewhat spongy. There's no clean break. Where on the M&P Pro, you have the take up, and then you have your clean break, which is nice. The back straps on the Pro are interchangeable. You spin this around, you pull this piece out. It doubles as your takedown tool as well for the gun, so you can push out your pins. And this allows you to interchange the different back straps, large, medium, small, depending on your hand, what feels best. I have large hands, but I still think that the medium feels the best in my hands. The large one kind of just adds more swell to the gun, kind of like a Glock 20 or 21, but a little more swollen, kind of a different feeling there. Not really the profile that I was looking for. Overall, it's a good shooting gun. I'm definitely have more time on my Glocks and my 1911s, so I do group better with them. But I've had no issues placing my shots well, having them touch on paper. I have not shot under a timer yet with this gun, so I do not know how that's going to turn out with the trigger and the way the gun shoots. However, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Based on other people's reviews and videos, it should be fine. I primarily bought this for USPSA to run in production class because I do take off the finger grooves on all my Glocks, which it just drives me nuts that they have to put them on. I don't care about the angles. I can pick up any gun and shoot it fine because I'm looking for, sight picture. Yes, that could affect point shooting if you ever got into that. But I've done point shooting with Glocks and 1911s, and I don't have the issue. I don't really see an issue with that at all. Overall, I think it's a solid gun. Definitely recommend it to other people. If I had got the M&P first, I probably would not have gone with the Glocks. The grip is just nicer. The texture is more aggressive than the standard RTF finish on the Glocks and even the Gen 4s. My Glock is the RTF2, so it's already more aggressive, which makes it kind of uncomfortable to carry. If the gun is directly on your skin, if you're running an inside waistband. so you might want to knock that down with sandpaper. But you don't have that issue on the M&P. It's not so aggressive that it will irritate your skin. It's just kind of a nice, almost a stippled, tacky feeling. That's not too aggressive. Alright guys, if you have any questions or want to see any more videos, go ahead and feel free and let me know.